Department of Education YouTube channel. On this segment, we will be focusing on issues that are affecting learners on their everyday lives. Today we have a very special guest, Mrs. Kolani, the Director of Inclusive and Special Needs Education, who will be helping us lead this conversation of challenges that are faced by learners. Hello, Mrs. Kolani.
Hello, dear.
Thank you for joining us on this episode.
It's a pleasure.
So the first question that I will be asking you is, what challenges do learners face during this exam season?
In answering that, I would like to look into what is it that we look at within the Department of Education when we support a learner, and what are the barriers to learning. When we look at challenges that learners face, we look at 4 components. We look at societal barriers to learning, we look at systemic barriers to learning, as well as intrinsic barriers to learning. So I'll just start then by the societal barriers to learning. During this time of exams, learners, they live in communities, and learners are within families. So if within the society, within the family, there is no support, learners then find difficulty, because it might be that the environment, the home environment is not conducive. They are not having, safe spaces to learn, as well as the parents are not supportive. That is now the societal barriers to learning, especially during the examination time. We also have the systemic barriers to learning. That is now the system itself, the education system itself, where maybe learners don't have, again, safe and conducive spaces within the school environment to learn, and also there is not enough support that learners are given. However, those have been addressed. We'll talk about that later. The most important barriers to examinations is the intrinsic ones. We know that the research has shown that there's high rate of anxiety, high rate of depression in our young people. So as they are writing the examinations, there are learners that are having high levels of anxiety, high levels of depression. Some learners are on medication. So then during this exam time, they require concessions or accommodations to be able to take their medications. So all these challenges, they have the potential of holding back the learner, or the potential of limiting the learner in achieving their goals of passing grade 12.
Okay. And do you feel like schools do enough to accommodate these students who have these types of challenges?
Yes, I can say that within our province, really the schools are doing all in their power to support learners. As is now, within our province, we've approved 1,759 accommodations and concessions. So just briefly to say, what is accommodation and concessions? Within the system, we have policy that gives the opportunity for learners on medication, for learners with slow writing speed, for learners that maybe are easily distracted, learners with a specific barrier to learning, learners that require separate venues. So those are the concessions. So the process is the schools will then apply for a specific concession for a learner. And then through the district-based support teams, the psychologists then will assess the writing speed of a learner. They will also assess a specific barrier, be it intellectual disability or be it medical. They will then write a report, and then I will then approve those concessions with my team from the provincial office. So yes, looking at the applications that we received this year, I can confidently say we've fully supported our grade 12.
does inclusive help these students overcome the challenges?
Okay, thank you for that question. You know, as inclusive education, we don't start working with a learner when they are writing exams. We start long before that, even from lower grades. So I will first talk about the issue of the parental involvement. We have a program that we take parents through that is called Parenting with Assurance, where we sort of empower parents to be more supportive to their children and to their learning. And further to that, we also then train our teachers to ensure that they are able to refer learners with challenges. So they will be able to pick up that this learner is having challenges, maybe a learner that was bubbly, suddenly withdrawn, or a learner that was always punctual and doing the schoolwork suddenly doesn't do that anymore, or there is a high rate of absenteeism. So teachers already, they are aware that then it means that there are red flags. Then they refer those learners to our therapist. So we support by doing that. We also then ensure that within the system has conducive policies and spaces. Further than that, we also adopt schools directly from my office. We adopt schools that are failing and schools that are at risk of failing. The criteria that we use there then is to look at all the social ills. Be it there's high rate of teenage pregnancy, there's high rate of substance abuse, or there's high rate of learners that are heading households. So already those schools for us, they are schools that require more support. So within my team, I have social workers, I have psychologists, I have occupational therapists, I have speech therapists, I have also the education specialist. So that is then the team, a holistic team or a multidisciplinary team that goes out to schools and support the schools. Even issues of suicide, we had quite some number of attempted suicides. So it's where then the psychological support comes in and the social work services. Further than that, we also support learners remotely. In the beginning of this academic year, we developed a support program where then we came up with videos so that even when we are not there, a child can take a memory stick, they can then plug in and see me talking to them, or see any of my team members doing the relaxation exercises with them, because that is also very important during the exam time. We've really trained our learners, our physiotherapists were very key in this, in just ensuring that body posture as you see it, the relaxation exercises that they've done. So that is how we've assisted.
Thank you, Ms. Kolai. How important is it for learners to receive psychosocial assistance, and do you feel like it is accessible to learners all over the province, even the country at large?
On the issue of accessibility, I think if I look at the department, or if I look at institutions and silos, I will say it's not enough. But if I look at all the collaboration that we have, and us as different sister departments assisting each other, then I can say yes, we can go a mile with that. Let me then start with why is psychosocial support so important. Life just on its own has its own pleasures. The research has shown that 1 in 6 adults is having depression. We are a depressed, country, and there are so many challenges, psychosocial challenges, mental health, all the pressures. Parents are not working. such a lot of pressures on us. So psychosocial support is very key then for our, not only for our learners, for our teachers as well, because people are going through a lot. Within the department, I can say yes, it is accessible because we do have social workers, we do have all the therapists that can support learners. And people are aware who to contact at district level, at school level, because even at school level, with our school-based support coordinators, though they are not trained psychosocial support practitioners, but through our trainings and through our referral system, they are able to identify a learner that is at risk and a learner that requires psychosocial support and are able to refer. We have a very good referral system in place.
What role do families and the community play in imposing or perpetuating these challenges on learners?
You know, communities, they play a very big and a very influential part in the upbringing of any child. And what we see in communities, unfortunately, it then affects what happens at schools. Right now, we have higher rate of, substance abuse in our communities, and the drug laws are all over our communities, and they are using these learners to be drug peddlers. We also have parents that are not conscious of the how they expose their children. Learners that give, parents that give learners a lot of money to school, pocket money to school, they are already, putting that child at a position where that child will be used. Because firstly, this child is always having money, spare money to use. And then the drug laws, they know, they target learners actually that are from, middle class. So if the community is not conscious of what is happening within the community, it then affects. Right now we have high rate of teenage pregnancy as well, and also that comes from the communities. Learners are being abused, learners are neglected. In some cases, even when there is a case opened, but parents will go and cancel the case to say, but this person is bringing food on the table. So issues of poverty, issues of unemployment, they are affecting our learners directly. Issues of parents that are not involved in the education of learners. Also the boy child, where there are no role models within the community, then learners are left, to be influenced by them, the wrong platforms. The media is good, but also media can influence negatively. So I think it's also time that we use media to influence positively, what is happening, to sort of turn around the situation in our communities. So the communities play a very, very key role in shaping and socializing our learners.
Okay, so inclusive does obviously offer a lot of support to students, to learners. And you did mention that communities are a big part of raising a child. Is there a way that inclusive can help educate these parents and communities in how to help support their learners in education?
Yes, we do have the QLTC, which is one component within the department that we collaborate with, we work closely with, because QLTC ensures that the whole community is on board on all the social aids. And within that structure, we have the non-governmental organizations, we have our religious leaders, and we have in some communities our traditional leaders that are able to impact on issues of culture, on on issues of morality and on issues of, self-preservation by our children. We also have what we call jamborees, because some of the learners don't have documentation, the grants are being misused, are not used for the learners. So we also have jamborees where we invite all sister departments to come and ensure that they give their services and they create awareness. We also have partnerships with SAPS, whereby then they are also, visible in our schools and they deal with behavioral challenges that we have.
How can learners prioritize their mental health during exam?
Firstly, learners need to understand that they need to prioritize. They also need to know that they need to sacrifice some of the things in pursuit of their goals, because they cannot, not study and go after nice time during this time. Nice time is not going to run away. They will still have those friends, but if they know that I need to prioritize, and in prioritizing it means I need to fulfill something for this duration so that I'm able to achieve my goal. They need to withdraw from social gatherings. They need to withdraw from even social media, because it's a distraction. And most of the learners we worked with, they were saying that's the distraction. And in our engagements with them, we're saying have a timetable. Yes, we must say this 15 minutes I'm giving it to just check on social media, because they cannot just shut down 100%. But if they have a timetable to ensure that there's time for studying, there's time for exercising. By exercising, we don't mean they should go to the gym, just a walk around the block, Also doing those, relaxation exercises. And yes, time, to be chatting with the siblings, with the parents, but with the goal of saying 90% of my time or 80% of my time, not less than that, I'm dedicating to my examinations. Drinking a lot of water, having time to relax. They should have really enough time also to relax and sleep, so that the brain can renew itself and it can always be in that relaxed state all the time. Also, learners should really sort of assume a growth mentality, because if they don't on daily basis, affirm themselves, assume a growth mentality, it will affect them. By that I mean, we know that yesterday they wrote English, and look, it was their first paper, and it might be that they ran out of time, or it might be that they felt they didn't answer adequately a specific question. So someone with a growth mindset will just say, I think I became anxious in the beginning of the 3-hour paper, but then I regained again, my calm, I regained, my focus, and I finished well. Or can say I struggled, but this is not the end of it. This is not the end of it. Tomorrow I'll do better than I've done yesterday. So they must always be positive to say what happened yesterday doesn't determine how I will finish this race of examination. So they must also have, buddies that will affirm them positively, and they must also listen to their teachers, because I believe our teachers are doing the best for our learners. Also, the monitors, as we go to schools, we are giving our best to learners. So they must just remain focused. It's for a certain period of time. They can forfeit everything else just to get their menstrual. The main thing is to focus, is to remain with a positive mind. And whatever, sort of motivates them. If be it prayer, then they should pray. Be it meditation, then they they should meditate. Be it talking to their parents that they should do that. So whatever brings them internal motivation, they should hold on to that.
Is there something that you would like to say to the learners who are currently writing their exams?
We know that you are a group that was hard hit by the COVID lockdown. But through the past year, you've shown your resilience and you've shown that you can do this. Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself. The system has done all in its power to ensure that you have a conducive space to write your exams. You've been fully supported by all of us in the system, from the school level up to the provincial level. We have the support of all of us and we believe in you. We know that you can do this. You are also having a legacy of all those that came before you. That's through these hands of all of us, from the office of the MEC right to the office of that cleaner at your school. You have our support. We are cheering you on. We are saying you can do this. Don't be discouraged on any other day. Know that each and every day brings good blessings, good gifts of the system that you are in. Don't be discouraged. This is now the summit. As somebody that hikes a lot, it's always, that last stretch to the summit is always the worst. You feel like giving up, but we are saying don't give up. At the end of it all, you are going to look at the beautiful view. At the end of this exam, you'll be having your certificate and all the doors will be open for you. We are cheering you on. Go on. You have what it takes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Kalani, for an amazing interview.
Thank you.